Your brain on anxiety is like a car with the gas pedal stuck constantly, running at high speed, heading towards inevitable breakdown. But neuroscience has discovered something fascinating about how this process changes when we experience one specific psychological state. Imagine being driven by a purpose that transforms chaos into clarity. In this video, we'll explore the biological mechanisms that link meaning to stress reduction, examine real-world examples of how this works, and I'll give you 3 practical exercises to start implementing this approach today in your life. This is a scientifically backed approach that transformed the lives of concentration camp survivors. Join me as we uncover both the science and deeply disturbing human stories behind this powerful mental shift. The modern meaning crisis. What if the root cause of your anxiety isn't what you think? Millions wake each morning with that familiar tightness in their chest, the racing thoughts, the sense of impending doom. Yet, beneath these symptoms lies something deeper. A crisis of meaning that affects more people now than at any point in modern human history. The numbers tell a concerning story. Over the past decade, anxiety disorders have increased by nearly 50% worldwide. A 2020 study showed a dramatic surge in stress, anxiety, and depression during the pandemic. But these trends were already climbing steadily before that disruption. 1 in 4 adults now experiences anxiety at levels that interfere with daily functioning. But beyond numbers, science reveals that our brains are wired to react this way when deprived of purpose. What's happening to us? Take Emma, a 28-year-old digital marketer who spends hours curating the perfect Instagram presence while feeling increasingly hollow. I have thousands of followers, but one to call when I feel lost? Nah, she confesses. I compare my everyday reality to everyone's highlight reels and wonder why my life feels so empty. When we visit doctors or therapists for anxiety, the focus typically centers on managing symptoms. Medication to calm the nervous system, breathing techniques to interrupt panic attacks, cognitive restructuring to challenge negative thoughts. These approaches help many people, but they often miss a fundamental aspect of our distress. The question of why we are here and what makes our struggles worthwhile. Our modern environment creates perfect conditions for this meaning vacuum. We scroll through carefully curated social media feeds, showing others apparent happiness and success while sitting alone in our rooms. We replace deep conversation with text messages, substitute community with online groups, and measure our worth through likes and follows. The average person now spends over 7 hours daily in front of screens, but less than 8 minutes in meaningful conversation. This technological disconnection combines with intensifying pressure to achieve material success. We work longer hours to buy more things we don't need, chase promotions that don't satisfy us, and postpone that activities that actually give our lives depth and purpose. The result is what researchers call the modern meaning crisis, a pervasive sense that something essential is missing, despite our material abundance. Research confirms this lack of purpose directly impacts our biological stress systems. When we lack a meaningful framework for understanding our experiences, our brain's threat detection mechanism remains perpetually activated. Our amygdala, the brain's alarm system, works overtime, flooding our bodies with stress hormones without meaning to interrupt our struggles. Every obstacle becomes an existential threat rather than part of a larger narrative. Consider Michael, a 42-year-old executive who embodies what psychologists call a successful but empty syndrome. He achieved every external goal he'd set: the corner office, the luxury car, the vacation home, only to find himself taking an anti-anxiety medication just to function. I did everything I was supposed to do, he told, but I still feel this constant anxiety, like I'm missing something fundamental. The solution to this crisis emerged from perhaps the most unlikely place imaginable. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps during World War II, observed something remarkable about who survived these horrific conditions. It wasn't the physically strongest who endured, but those who maintained a sense of meaning and purpose. He famously wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost anyhow." His work demonstrated that meaning serves as a psychological buffer against suffering. I wonder what might happen if you approached your anxiety not as something broken to fix, but as a message from your deeper self. What if these uncomfortable feelings are pointing towards something important, something about how you're living that doesn't align with what gives your life meaning? Let's look at the biology of meaning. Your body has a built-in system that can transform anxiety, but most people never activate it. Let's examine what happens in your brain when you discover purpose. This is an abstract philosophy. It's concrete neurobiology that affects every cell in your body. When chronic anxiety takes hold, your body enters a persistent state of biological alarm. Your sympathetic nervous system, the emergency response network, remains activated. This triggers stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. This biological smoke detector never turns off, keeping your heart rate elevated, slowing digestion, and compromising your immune system, while creating inflammation throughout your body. Research reveals something remarkable about people with strong purpose. They show measurably different biological responses when facing identical stressors. In one study, participants exposed to the same stressful scenario displayed significant differences in their physiological reactions. Those scoring highest on purpose in life assessments showed lower inflammatory markers and cortisol levels despite experiencing the same external pressure. This pattern appears consistently across diverse populations. Cancer patients who develop post-traumatic growth, finding meaning through their illness, showed better recovery after chemotherapy and survived an average of 186 days longer than those who found no meaning. Their bodies fought harder when their minds perceived purpose in their suffering. When we possess a framework of purpose, our brain processes threats differently. Instead of categorizing every stressor as danger, we place it within a larger narrative. The amygdala, your brain's alarm center, becomes less reactive when threats fit within a meaningful context. Your prefrontal cortex maintains greater control over emotional responses. Purpose also activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode that counteracts stress. Now, this system reduces your heart rate, lowers blood pressure, and promotes healing. People with strong purpose maintain this physiological balance rather than remaining in fight or flight states, allowing the nervous systems to recover quickly after stress exposure. The benefits extend beyond stress management. A long-term study tracking over 6,000 participants found those with higher purpose scores lived longer, had lower risk of heart disease, and showed less cognitive decline with age. even after controlling for health behaviors, social connections, and depression. Here's how science shows us that purpose rewires this reaction altogether. Research building on Viktor Frankl's work identifies three distinct forms of meaning that buffer against stress in different ways. Creative meaning comes from contributing something valuable through work, art, or service, like the musician who transforms personal pain into songs that help others heal. Creative meaning activates our brain's reward centers in sustainable ways. Experiential meaning emerges from fully engaging in relationships and experiences that connect us to something larger. Think of the volunteer who finds deep satisfaction working with children, activating the brain's social connection networks that reduce stress. Attitudinal meaning involves choosing how we face inevitable suffering. Frankl observed concentration camp survivors who maintained dignity despite horrific conditions showed remarkable resilience. Like the person who finds strength caring for an ill family member, this meaning activates areas associated with agency and self regulation. Each meaning type affects our biology differently, creating stress resilience, not the absence of stress, but a transformed relationship to it. Your body still recognizes threats but processes them through a meaning framework that prevents chronic activation of stress systems. Understanding these biological mechanisms matter, but this knowledge only becomes valuable when applied to our lives. The challenge becomes discovering what forms of meaning might speak to your unique situation and how to cultivate them when anxiety already clouds your perception. Finding your meaning medicine. Now, there's a reason why conventional anxiety treatments often fail. They're missing the key ingredient that transforms how your brain processes stress. You can practice relaxation techniques and take medication for years without addressing the deeper issue. The missing element isn't another coping strategy, but something more fundamental, meaning meaning that transforms your relationship with anxiety itself. Applying these concepts to your daily life presents real challenges, especially when anxiety clouds your thinking. When your mind races with worry and your body feels tense, philosophical ideas about meaning can seem abstract. This struggle intensifies in our culture where quick fixes dominate, where immediate relief is expected from medication or techniques. Finding meaning requires patience in a world of instant solutions. The journey toward meaning isn't linear. Viktor Frankl noted that meaning must be discovered by each person through their unique circumstances. While we can't give you a universal formula, we can offer practical exercises that transform your relationship with anxiety. Consider Sarah, who suffered from debilitating social anxiety for years. During a particular difficult episode, she realized her fear of judgment was actually pointing her toward her deepest value, authentic connection. Her anxiety became a guide rather than an enemy to defeat. Let's turn theory into practice with a tool designed to reframe pain into progress: the suffering inventory. Take a sheet of paper, identify three areas of a life causing the most struggle. Write down these three major stressors, and next to each, jot down what lesson they might be whispering about your path. Ask, what might this suffering be teaching me? How might this challenge connect to something larger? What strengths am I developing through this difficulty? As Frankl stated, if there is a meaning in life at all, then there must be a meaning in suffering. Now that you've explored your challenges, let's clarify what truly matters with values clarification. Imagine you're at the end of your life looking back. What would have made your life feel worthwhile? What contributions, relationships, or experiences would matter the most? These core values serve as compass points when anxiety surrounds you. With values identified, we can create momentum through daily purpose practices, which means small actions that build meaning incrementally. Research shows meaning often emerges through consistent action rather than sudden insight. Select one small action aligned with your values that you can practice daily. These practices weave purpose into your everyday existence. I witnessed remarkable transformations through these approaches. Let's take the case of Elena, a marketing executive with severe panic attacks, recognized through values clarification that her career didn't align with her core values of creativity and service. So she begins volunteering at a community arts center, a change that connected her to a deeper purpose. Her anxiety thereby decreased substantially, eventually disappearing when she transitioned to a more fulfilling role. Marcus developed severe anxiety after retirement. His suffering inventory revealed that losing his professional identity created an existential void. Through mentoring young people, he connected to something larger than himself. His anxiety became manageable as his life regained purpose. What's striking about these cases is how meaning transformed their responses to challenges. Now, research confirms that people with strong purpose process difficulties differently. Their bodies show lower stress biomarkers during struggles. Meaning provides a cognitive framework that helps your brain categorize and box threats as part of a larger narrative rather than isolated catastrophes. Now imagine distilling this clarity into a single, powerful page. This is what my one-page life clarity system can offer you. It's a valuable tool translating your values into concrete actions aligned specifically with your deepest purpose. What we've explored today points to something profound about anxiety. The solution isn't removing stress from your life, that's impossible. Instead, it's transforming a relationship to stress through meaning. Viktor Frankl discovered this truth in concentration camps when he observed that everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. From Michael to Marcus, the journey from anxiety to purpose is real and measurable. The one-page life clarity system offers a practical framework for this transformation in your life, helping you distill life's complexities into a page of focused purpose. If you're ready to listen to your anxiety as a guide rather than a foe, you just log in to logicalretreat.com and let's talk with each other on how we can implement this into your life. Thank you.